besar time. Mako, signo de exclamación virgulilla Mako fubu velove went on a week trip to a rent wedding, but back of no after a cozy 20-hour train trip a cofu confi how your quiz okay Mako fue art.
Hello. If I speak quietly enough, the drivers can't hear me. I think we're good. Is the stream up? Are we good, everybody? What did you say? Alright. Hello and welcome to stream. I hope everyone has had a wonderful Friday. Welcome to the end of the week, at least in Australia. I'm gonna hope that the thing stays up today. What a wonderful last couple days. If you were in Mako, where were you? Yesterday and the day before that. Well, on Wednesday, I did actually start the stream. Unfortunately, like 20 minutes in to playing the game, OBS completely died because the NVIDIA drivers crashed fully. And these are drivers that I've been using for a long while now. So like, either there's a Windows update that messed with something, a recent program doesn't like it, there's general hardware weirdness of some of the thing that's accumulated with software craft over the while. And it's always very fun to be like diagnosing problems, because the number one fun thing I've gotten from people lately is like, oh, that's what you get for choosing Windows 11. And it's like, whoa there, arch user, whoa, put the mobility scooter away. I'm on Windows 10. Hold on there, buddy. This is a problem across all the software at this point. Yeah, not using Arch, by the way. As Windows and NVIDIA GPU driver update recently, I looked through a whole bunch of them. Mako, you know cybersecurity stuff. I would not say I know cybersecurity stuff. I would say I have a passing interest in some of it. That does not make me qualified. What do you do if you keep getting emails spoofed to be from your own email alongside just ignore and change the password? You just ignore it. If emails are spoofed from you, they'll do that either way. It's just a spam thing. If you're on Outlook, Outlook has dog shit mail filtering. Outlook is really, really bad. Gmail, for all their credit, Gmail is pretty good at filtering mail, but then you're in Google's ecosystem. Spam will send you emails that look like it's coming from you that aren't authenticated properly. It's not a thing with changing a password, it's literally just because anyone can technically change the email header. There's like signed ones that can give it more authenticity.
Mako, what game does Mako want to play?
Hello, XLO, thank you for the bits. Yeah, like email is kind of just like real mail when it was made, so anyone can technically put anything in any field. There's more like race and stuff, which I have no idea about the full scope of how it works, sorry. But it's kind of like having a letter. Anyone can say, this letter came from Mako. And I read them like, I said this to myself, oh my god. I was like, nah, like, if they know it's their email, they can just say, you sent this to yourself. You've been hacked. And it's like, well, no. Yeah, spoofing's pretty easy. Like, there's more recent signatures they can put on stuff now. I think each different website host has their own way of doing it to verify stuff now, but you can still technically do it. And yeah, like having your own mail server is a bitch. I've never heard of anyone having a good experience in the modern day trying to have a mail server. They all just go through the big ones now. And Duddle, thank you for 26 months. And also Sparkle, thank you very much for that 20 months. Cocus, thank you for 22 months. And the Ritz, thank you for 22 months of tier 2. Thank you very, very, very much for that. Thank you, thank you. And TronoMXW, thank you for 19 months. And I believe we are caught up to when the stream crashed. Future Mako trying to warn current Mako. It's funny because like I leave like a post-it note, I wouldn't send an email to myself. I just think it's a scam, where it's like a post-it note, it's like, oh no, that's a gas leak. That's bad. Just ignore, got it. Yep. Not much you can really do about the fake, you sent this email to yourself, other than just ignore it. Like, report it as spam, and ones like that should hopefully be filtered. But yeah, I had a problem with Outlook that made me just abandon it completely because Microsoft doesn't filter emails at all. Like, really, it's really bad. I don't know how many of you guys have, like, a Hotmail, or a @Live, or a @Outlook. They're all through Microsoft that are really, really bad at filtering spam. I don't know how it's that bad. I get more spam than actual email. Whereas Gmail, like, I get like marketing stuff, but it's mostly just like websites I've been to. Whereas Outlook is like penisextension.com. Did you know Elon Musk has a tiny penis? Well, not with after he went to us. Send 50 Bitcoin. Or it's like, hello, I'm watching you through webcam. You said this from your email, you have been hacked. It's like, how does this pass like Microsoft's like fucking spam filter? Do they even have a spam filter? Are they trying to just sell Copilot subscriptions with extra storage space attached? So now all the funny characters just be overlooked. I have no idea. Like, you see like the fucking Cyrillic and all kinds of glyphs in the fucking emails. How is that allowed? I just want ASCII. Let me just have ASCII. Very bizarre. Where was I as well? So yeah, I've spent the past couple of days troubleshooting stuff because the stream crashed at like 11:19 p.m. on Wednesday, so I'm just sitting there like kind of blue balled like halfway through, so I can't restart the stream. Because when the graphics card crashed, it ended the stream fully. Like, it sent stop stream to Twitch, not just disconnection because OBS stopped. It said stop the stream. I'm like, what the hell? You don't make that decision, I do. I didn't press that. So it fully just ended the stream. I'm like, well, I actually can't even restart with like half the people this time. So I read it out to Vivi and she had a good stream of power washing and stuff. And to Ben, thank you for coming in. What was I doing? I was grabbing up some of the Twitter to show you the sillies and the funnies. Yeah, it is 2026. AI decides to just close your workday for you. There we go. Doop. Jensen, take the wheel today. But yeah, other stuff, I've naturally, I was riding high. Wednesday was wonderful. Wednesday was wonderful. And yes, it's a combined chat. Hello, both YouTube and Twitch. The Berlin Wall has collapsed, don't worry. Everyone sees your messages. I got my marine figure. I watched a Louis Theroux documentary. I made fucking brownies. I was negotiating contracts and signing stuff and talking to accountants. And then the reason why Wednesday ended early is could not update timestamps. NVENC and Code Pitcher failed. Device post API is invalid, so the drive is fully crashed. And then just kept saying device removed, stopping. And it just actually ended the stream instantly when the graphics crashed. So that sucked. And especially since like another thing happened with that on like, I want to say Friday last week. So it was 2 GPU crashes in like 5 days. And then also like the 3 or 4 internet related crashes of the previous week. So I go from fixing all of the problems with the internet, getting new routers set up, asking MVN, and then fixing a problem. And then suddenly it's like, okay, I've got to sit down to stream. GPU crashes the stream now. Like, it's so silly that this time I couldn't even like be upset, really. I just went, that sucks and that's a problem. Okay. I can't even be distraught over it because like that means there's an actual problem happening if it's happened like multiple times now. Because before it was like crashing because the internet whacked out. Yeah, I'm in overtime. I finished the Pac-Man level and like, fuck you, buddy. Much more orbs. Yeah, so it's no longer random in terms of just like a wacky thing happened. It's like, okay, there is a problem with my Windows or graphics card or power supply or other stuff. So I went through essentially hell. I went through every single possible problem that I could have done. So let me just screenshot all of the shit real quick. Snipping tool. Here is the closed version of all of my logs for stuff I've done. Pretty much all of these points is a troubleshooting step that I then wrote another entire to-do list within of screenshots of the results and other findings. Narrow down to what happened. Check Event Viewer. I checked all the way through Event Viewer, and I checked all of them and found every event around the time of 11:19 p.m. I found all the instances where it would be like, okay, this is due to a driver crashing. There was be live kernel events from Windows, which I was like, okay, was this a problem? No, those are all caused by the graphics card crashing and Windows not being able to go to display. So it would just give me a Windows crash error. And I went, all right, that makes sense. Checked security, and it's like special logon for security around that time to just log the event and then say, hey, there's a problem. I'm like, sure. Fair enough. Then check the system, it's like, yeah, NVLDDMKM cannot be found. GPU device error. I'm like, yep, okay, cool. So that's bad. So that's checked event viewer, bad events. Then I check Windows Update history. And no recent events prior to the crashes that would have caused it. So major updates, those were all before, because I'm on Windows 10. So let me show you this one. Let me show you this one. The update history of all the logs I took, because I'm using Obsidian. Updates, because I'm on Windows 10, by the way, because many people will tell you, like, Mako, you shouldn't have installed Windows 11 on your stream PC. I'm like, I fucking didn't. I'm on the support version of Windows 10, so I have more time. So I still am getting security updates. But it's like, the last one I got was the 26th, and like, I hadn't had this happen then. This started happening like a couple days ago. And more frequently. So it's different to all of these times, actually. Then, I checked the other, like, driver updates. No driver update issues. None near it that would have caused it. Because remember, it's March, so we use day, month, year. And the one which potentially I was worried might have caused it was the security stuff, where it's like, the security intelligence update, I'm like, okay, there was ones going like every single day. So it's possible, theoretically, that there could be like some kind of antivirus fuckery that like detects whatever's happening with the weirdness on stream and causes a crash or something. I could not find anyone else reporting that this happening as a result of the Windows 10 Windows Defender updates, so kind of ruled that out. Like, I could try turning off Windows Defender entirely, but that's probably a bad idea. Fake Strange, thank you very much for 37 months. Thank you. Oh yeah, let me put the disclaimer text up. Going through old troubleshooting. Alright, so that was all the Windows Update stuff. And like I checked even the actual like the latest updates, because one came in today, and they said that the latest update potentially improves the stability issue effect on certain GPU configurations. And that was like the last one I got for March 10th. And that kicked in yesterday as I updated. So maybe a Windows update came out rapidly to fix that problem. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe the stream will still crash. Maybe it won't today. Maybe we just don't hit it. Because remember, we still had a couple streams last week after, in between that first crash and the second crash, where nothing went wrong with the GPU. Who knows? None of this is really easy to test, actually. So maybe the Windows update and the later one, maybe this one could have helped. Alright, so that leaves in the big shitstorm of fucking tips of things I've tried. Check the YouTube Studio log. Let me tell you. Last log was 3 minutes before the crash, so nothing that could be reported. So VTube Studio is out of the game because it froze and went fully widescreened when the GPU crash happened. There was no log even made of the crash. It died that quickly. OBS log. put it through the analyzer, and like, we see you have some problems with dropped frames. That was it. OBS log didn't say much of what actually happened. And that was then the error that I posted over here with the device removed. So that, like, I have the exact time that stream died with the graphics card, down to the second, which is good. That's it. Alright, then task scheduler. Because that's another one with like, okay, check task scheduler. Maybe there's like an event that happens. Because remember, at like 7:29, 8:29, 9:29, 10:29, etc., the tracking would fully wig out for specifically that minute. Maybe there's like a task happening every hour. Yeah, there's literally nothing. Like, I checked every single task. I went through every menu in task scheduler looking for all of it, which I won't, for the sake of privacy, go through some of the ones because they list, you know, applications and names and things for some things. But task scheduler you can see in Windows, it's this little funky fella. Well, like if you open up, say this one, it shows like all the task schedulers, Windows, .NET, and the fun thing, I couldn't find how to get it to show all the tasks. I had to click each subfolder manually. It would only show me if there was a task on the parent folder directly. So you click this, it doesn't show you all of these, it shows you just that one. Then you click Windows, it shows you just Windows. Then you click .NET, it shows you just .NET. I didn't enjoy the task scheduler very much. I was hoping there would just be a show me all the tasks button. I couldn't see one. I'm probably stupid. Someone's probably gonna say like, Mako, you click this. If you do know, please do tell me. So task scheduler, literally fucking nothing. Check if Windows tried to do some shit, couldn't find any logs that indicated it. Install programs history, that was the latest ones installed were Edge, which was after the first crash, Visual C++ after the first crash. Oh, Dad, thank you very much for 9 months on YouTube. Thank you very, 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 very much. Good to see you too. Glad you're enjoying the streams despite me having more technical difficulties than usual. Task scheduler's bug for since went from 7 to 10. Break specify user counter, go factor directed to fix it every time when I edit a task. Yeah, I get tons of just like random, we logged on as the system user. Logged on as system user, and it doesn't give any details. It's kind of a useless log. Yeah, then that leaves Wireshark and then PCAP, which was installed on the 6th to monitor the bug with like the face track and stuff. And that's when the first actual stream crash happened. So I'm like, possibly, maybe, there could be some issue, potentially, with Wireshark installed and some weirdness with that. Maybe. Because, like, it happened on the 6th. After I installed Wireshark. It could be Google Chrome, it could be Brave. It could be Discord or Microsoft Game Input, etc., etc. Who knows? But I've decided, okay, I'll uninstall the things that were installed in the 6th and just pray. So that's that step done. Continuing. Memtest. I ran Memtest fully. I think I showed you guys it running in Discord. Ugh. That fucking thing kept going. So from Mako, memtest is the thing that goes through your RAM and does a whole bunch of tests, putting various values in and making sure the values still come out correctly. So like it'll write like 1 to a cell, and if that still says 1, it passes that part of the test. Each like pass of a test and all the subtests is like a couple hours each for my PC at least. Oftentimes you used to run it online. How to keep running it for a week though? That's for like data center applications and sensitive stuff. Generally, most of the errors are going to be caught within the first like 10 minutes. And then it progressively, the scale is like logarithmic for how many errors it's going to catch. So like after an hour, you can be reasonably sure it's probably fine. After a full pass, you're like, okay, it's probably fine. 2 passes, it's really, really likely it's fine. 3 passes is like point of no return where If it happens past 3 passes, that's an extreme edge case weirdness thing. Because one error is enough to say, that's it, don't do anymore. And most of the weird memory errors seem to be like very frequent. It could be to do with my RAM being fucking wiggly. Like if we go and take a look. You guys remember my wiggly RAM? The heat spreader comes off. I love quality control on RAM. Well, isn't that neat? Thank you, paid actress. Yeah, you can see the fucking the thermal pad. That's not normal, pretty sure. Is the GPU wiggly? No, because that's one of the things as well. Like, I also checked to see if the graphics card possibly was having like sag that might be like fucking with the PCIe slot, right? Because that's one thing that tricks up a lot of people, is graphics cards now are way too fucking heavy. And a lot of these older PCIe slots are plastic, and that means that they can bend. And you'll see with a much more heavy GPUs, like GPU size over the years, they went from pretty small to pretty fucking big really quickly. Like, the size of them is just kind of insane now. Like, these are the graphics cards from the mid-2000s. This is a recent graphics card. The fucking bricks. A lot of the instance, you kind of can't really fit them into small cases anymore. It's insane. Can't believe this is 21st century and say stuff like the GPU is too heavy for the slot. It shouldn't be the case, but like, it's a giant fucking chunk of metal. They went from being small to multiple kilograms hanging off this little tiny fucking plastic clip. So like, alright, that might be why it's happening. But no, the issue with that potential theory for me though, I checked my motherboard and I went, oh yeah, my motherboard is metal reinforced on the PCIe slot. And I had like a GPU spacer. So the Aorus motherboard, I think the Gigabyte motherboards are pretty inconsistent, and I don't want to get another Gigabyte motherboard because of how much fucking issues I've had with random bullshit. But the PCIe top slot is made of metal, and I checked, it wouldn't budge even when I pulled on it. So it's not that. Because like, I tried wiggling it, the GPU wouldn't fucking wiggle a sag. So it's not that. And I pulled it fully out. I pulled all the stuff out of my PC chat. No issue with any of the components. The RAM wiggle thing, that's just the heat spreader. The RAM inside of it is fine. It's just because the cooling on it pops off. How's the exact model board saying a year ago? No issues yet, just lucky. Well, that's the thing. Tons of people have no issues with stuff. It could be that it's completely fine. It's just I run into problems with various things. I look online, everyone's like, of course you're gonna run into that problem. I'm like, well, now I feel like a fucking idiot. I'm like, MSI has been pretty reasonable from stuff, and I'm not saying it just because sponsorship. Like, I look online and generally MSI seems to be the more recommended motherboard manufacturer now. Yeah, like they seem to be on the higher end of stuff. Which has been nice because like having a sponsor that I could actually recommend is quite good. Temps and memory good? Yep. Looked at the temps while I was running mem test as well as like a full system stress test. No issues. So mem test completely fine, passed through 2 full passes in mem test with no problem. And that was before I even like yanking the memory out to put it back in. Drive test. I ran, what's it called? I ran the Samsung Magician software and they're like, yep, 100% quality. There's absolutely no issue with your SSD. I ran the WMIC disk drive get status thing that like Microsoft support on a forum like, hello, you should run this program that says we need this for troubleshooting steps. Like, okay, I'm having a more advanced problem than just like my computer doesn't connect to the Wi-Fi. And just... Hey motherboards, because one new Amazon one a few months ago does not let you boot for some reason. I was doing everything when trying to RMA, they didn't accept it. Oh, that fucking sucks. Yeah, RMA processes, I've struggled to find a single manufacturer that does RMA as well. I've heard nothing but problems with having to RMA anything. Like, the most recent one I did was the hard drives, and like I made sure to collect so much data on, okay, here's how many errors that the NAS is detected in the hard drives. Here's the sound this one makes. Here's the serial numbers. Here's all these tests. And then they went, yeah, okay, that checks out. We'll give you that. But I've had times like the Samsung monitor. I fucking hate Samsung. The Samsung monitor, which they would just say, no, there's no problem with it. You bought it like that. I'm like, but your own policy says if I wouldn't have bought it if I'd known of these issues, then I'm qualified for a refund. That's in your own policy. And they went, no, we have to send it back to Samsung for repair. I'm like, that's not true. Your policy says this. I hate RMA and stuff. Like, it's such a bitch. So yeah, like, not surprised MSI, ASUS, EVGA... Wait, EVGA don't even make GPUs anymore, do they? Because the whole NVIDIA troubles. Yeah. Yeah, RMAs are a bitch. I've never liked a single company's process. But mostly MSI has been pretty great in the other stuff I've used. And Ronan Historia, thank you very much for the raid. Welcome in. Thank you. I hope you had a wonderful stream. I'm just ranting and raving about the troubles I had because my stream fully crashed on Wednesday. And it seemed to be a graphics card issue, and I had another graphics card crash thing on stream where it just had a different weird GPU problem. So not the exact same one, where it'll maybe think, uh-oh, is my GPU fucking dying? So I went through a whole bunch of stuff to try it. Oh yeah, oh right, I gotta buy extra USB sticks. I only have one USB currently to use to boot into stuff, and I realized I had to wipe the Windows 11 like clean install I had to put memtest on it. I think you're tweeting about magic UPSs recently. Oh, so you got one? Hell yeah, which one did you get? Every streamer and person that needs a computer to stay up for work should have a UPS because it saves you so much fucking time. If you live in a perfect area with perfect power, wonderful, but many people don't. So confused, did it blue screen or just black? No blue screen, the graphics drive is fully crashed and it just shut OBS. Wouldn't render anymore, and every other window that was open turned white because the whole thing said the GPU was removed. Which is apparently an error that mainly happens because of a NVIDIA like driver crash. Your PC was still alive. And there's been no changes to the drivers in months. Any place you get blackouts? Yep. Everyone in Australia I've lived has had random blackouts. Like, I've genuinely never lived in an Australian place that's had stable electricity. You can say that's an indictment of the area. I think it's just because Australia is big and has tons of people in it. And it gets quite hot sometimes. It's hopefully better nowadays. There's more like solar power stuff. But Australia has historically been pretty atrocious for random blackouts. So yeah, like, I'm having random issues with the GPU where like, I think I was even a clip of the other weird problem I had where the graphics had this failed to create 2D texture error. Let me see if I can find it in the clips section. Heavens again, try pressing Windows Control Shift P, reset crop shot. Oh, it did do that. Like the PC came back up, but OBS doesn't recover. OBS can't recover from that, sadly. Where was it? It was not this one. It was the 7th of March? 6th of March. Okay. Go back there. Here we go. Copy link. Alright, chat, so this is what happened.
The other puzzle boxes, we could just press things a million times. She can't
This is what happened on the 6th. This is a separate issue, but also GPU
it's
related.
sun, moon, star.
That's the wrong clip. Twitch, that's actually the wrong clip. I copied the... Is this busted? I love Twitch.
I fucking...
There we go. This is what happened. On the 6th of March.
What does it look like?
Because on my end...
OBS is giving me a graphics card crash error in the log. What does it look like for me? I can't believe that I fixed the fucking internet. I contact the ISP. Okay, it's just replaying the same couple frames. Okay, so chat, yeah, so that's what happened the first GPU error, and it was having some similar logs, but the stream didn't die. It just kept outputting the same 2 frames over and over, where it was like failed to open shared 2D texture. Except this made like 45,000 of those logs in like a couple minutes. Whereas this time, it fully crashed, and even OBS like fully ended the stream on its own. So multiple times of having GPU related errors that were kind of weird made me think, uh-oh. So that's the context there. Have you tried Filmuck? Filmuck's just like a benchmark thing. It's fine. Don't worry, I know about Filmuck. That's like a stress test thing. Yeah, so drive test. So I've gone through all the logs for various stuff, all the Windows logs for things. Drive test. Yep. I've unplugged the external hard drive because like maybe if there's like a weird issue with the 10 terabyte one happening, maybe there could be like a weird problem there. Don't know if it'll be a thing. But yeah, all those drives in my system are confirmed working. There are no errors in the smart data. Samsung's own self-test wrote a bunch of data to it and retrieved all of it correctly with no errors a couple times. So probably not a drive problem. And also wouldn't make much sense. Like it could be like, theoretically, there could be like a corruption in the drive somewhere and it's loading a bad version of the drive. I don't know. That would be a stretch. That's a real stretch. But still, rolled it out. Then went into the classic. Hello, this is Microsoft tech support. Please run dism.exe. I ran it, chat, and it says no problems. There was no problem. And then I ran SFC scan now, which you run the DISM one first because I was like, what the fuck do these actually do? So I looked it up. There's a nice little diagram that shows the, yeah, here we go. This is a nice little blog from, it doesn't show the title, thank you WordPress. What every Windows user must know about DISM and SFC. I like the WordPress says, design a site like this with WordPress.com, as this banner from WordPress cuts off the title from WordPress. I really like websites that put forehead ads like that in there. Very functional and cool. Let me set this just in the chat. There you go. Alright, so I was like, what is DISM? Well, that downloads from Microsoft servers. If there is a component that it uses to restore files in your system that is corrupt in the first place, you can't trust whatever SFC does if DISM has corrupted files. So you run DISM first, it checks and sees if any of the component store is fucked up. So then you know that you have healthy component store, so when SFC scans your fucking drive for missing or corrupted files, it makes sure it takes the correct components from it to have those done. That's the long and short of it. You can read this lovely article. Send the link in there. What every Windows user must know about DISM and SFC. So ran that one. This is where it pissed me off a little bit because I went through and ran it, and this is what it said because I thought I would get an easy fix out of it. Because it goes, alright, found corrupt files and successfully repaired them. I'm sitting there going, oh my god, it actually did something for like the first time ever. Wow,
Like, that's like if you went to your ISP and like, hello, press this button, it magically fixed things. Like, I've never seen SFC actually repair a corruption before. I kind of just assumed it was like a thing that might work in some instances. I was like, holy shit, wow. I guess I should check the log because I'm really curious what it decided to fix. That's incredible. Windows log cvs.log. I'm like, okay, let me open it up. Verify complete, repairing one components. Oh wow, okay, it's repairing something. Yeah, verifying repair, repairing users default app data roaming, Microsoft Windows, start menu, programs, OneDrive.link. Not OneDrive, the program, the link in the start menu to OneDrive that I had deleted because I try to delete OneDrive as much as possible. So if I go to select my start menu, yep, it's back. Imagine I didn't check the logs and like I stopped troubleshooting stuff. I go to stream like, guys, I fixed it. Guys, I fixed it. Windows says it found corrupt files. That was the problem, guy. And my stream fucking crashes again. It was just OneDrive in the start menu. Not even the actual program files, just a link to them. A fucking shortcut. So that was SFC, because everyone's like, make sure you run SFC. Make sure you need to do that. It's the basics. Like, okay, so I do the basics. So I uninstalled Wireshark and NPCap after that. Disabled hardware acceleration inside OBS because I'm like, I don't know. Maybe like the browser windows that you use for like alerts and chat widgets in OBS, maybe that could crash the graphics drivers if there's hardware acceleration. Sure, maybe. That's possible. Every web dev should be tried in The Hague. I would believe that they could fuck up my graphics drivers. So I've disabled that in OBS settings. We'll see if that helps. Maybe consider OBS update. Didn't go ahead with this because I fucking hate updating OBS. And plus I haven't had these problems before now with the same GPU drivers and the same OBS version. And anytime you update OBS, you risk plugins breaking and other weird shit and having to reset everything up from scratch because major version migrations aren't great. We also have some more tea. Computer science student here, you hate technology. Very understandable. I love technology. I don't like a lot of this technology. Every time I touch Windows, I lose a little bit of faith. Where was I? Oh yeah, and DDU graphics drivers. So I had some people ask, DDU is a lovely program. You get a Guru 3D nowadays. DDU is display driver uninstalled. It's used over the years because occasionally driver installations get kind of fucked up. This goes through and wipes them fully away. You meant to use it in safe mode, so like I went into safe mode, uninstalled them, then rebooted and installed the proper drivers, kept the settings so I made sure like I went through the NVIDIA control panel, reset up my monitors and stuff. So that's done. But you wanna know the real fun thing? About like, okay, you uninstall your drivers, right? If you're not sure if it's a driver problem, what drivers do you reinstall? Because I was like, well, I shouldn't reinstall the same drivers because what if that's the problem? And my cursor looking from like, okay, what the fuck should I actually install? And it's people and I like 5.8 update caused FPS to drop on some gaming laptops. I'm like, okay, maybe that's my one. 580 nuked my PC, rolled back, it would blah 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 blah. There's a million hardware combinations. One driver is not going to be perfect for every single person because there's a million combinations. I get that. Making drivers is hard. But it's so insane. I don't know if this version could have been a problem, 580.88. I tried looking up stuff and people have problems, but then you look up the latest problem. 11th of March. NVIDIA's latest update broke something again. So like you can't even install the latest version because they were almost bricking graphics cards again. Because the latest one, the latest release ended up at the time disabling the fan on graphics cards and the correct clocks. If you go over here, Resident Evil Requiem GeForce drivers cause havoc, roll them back. They officially did a recall on it. Fan stuffing, ignored fan curves, missing sensors, boost clocks failing, black screens, and B-sides. Yay! So like, great! I now have to research what fucking driver version to replace before I even do the DDU. Fantastic. Well, I found this wonderful Reddit thread from a bunch of people on Guru 3D, because if you go to like the Guru 3D place, where is it? This is a wonderful forum that's lasted like decades now. They have a full forum that discusses a whole bunch of drivers, and the people in here typically are gigantic nerds. This website has existed for decades. It is a much better resource. There is almost no incentive to actually like create bots for this. So it's mostly just nerds, which means it's an actual reasonable resource. So I go through there and I find, where is it? Went through here. GPU drivers, here we go. So M_W_H, under one of the Game Ready driver release discussions. I like the Reddit sidebar on there that won't leave. Thank you. There we go. I'm glad you didn't install the first game or anything that had a problem. That I've always been looking. Every time I go to update drivers, I have to look online for the version numbers, because I know it's just my luck. It is just my luck that I will 100% have an issue if I blindly install something nowadays. And especially when things get more and more vibe coded. And they go, oops, we made a fucky wucky for everything. Doesn't matter. It could be NVIDIA, AMD, Intel, etc., etc. Every single person isn't doing proper checks anymore. Alright, so this lovely fella, M_WH, I think some chat has said this person worked at NVIDIA. I couldn't see a clear answer. But they checked all of the Windows updates and say drive recommendation flow on stability and compatibility. They recommend 50 series owners use these ones. These people use these ones, etc., etc. And they recommended, where was it? 59186 is the farm driver from this branch, missed bad. Improvements the same with 59174, but anything after that, like this version 8.6, have compatibility regressions, frame pace and performance. So 59174 seems to be the latest and most reasonable version. And looking through, couldn't see any other problems. They also have all this detail going through here with hotfixes and weirdness that can happen. Is worth trying Studio drivers. I was told that there is no effective difference between Studio and Game Ready. However, there is. I've not found a single consistent source of yes, it's definitely different. Yes, it's definitely the same. Sometimes it matters. Sometimes it doesn't. The files changed should make it not matter that much, but who knows? Genuinely, who knows? Probably NVIDIA. But I was told that specifically, if you get this version on the Studio version, it runs better. Like if you search for Studio, it doesn't come up here, but everything I heard recommended was get the Studio version. The Game Ready ones are not great, because there's, okay, Game Ready versus Studio drivers. This is the other weirdness with NVIDIA stuff, right? They're like, okay, if you're a creator and you create applications like video editors, then you should use the Studio drivers. If you play games, you should use the Game Ready driver. I play games as a creator. So, what do I do? And there isn't much of a response for that, actually. You use both, install both at the same time. someone just straight up comment well against the darn usage GPU. I think that my YouTube chat has busted. I'm not seeing any new messages on YouTube. Isn't YouTube great? I'm seeing a message in my OBS chat widget before I do on YouTube. Yep, my chat widget is posted. Okay. Oh, hyperchat was disabled. That's why. I have to use the hyperchat extension for YouTube because otherwise it blocks itself. There we go. I can see them now. Oh dear. Hey, let me put the music back up in Spotify. Alright, so that's been a fun thing as well. I've been told the studio drivers are meant to be more stable and they're like long-term releases. However, they now release concurrently with game array drivers, so I don't know if that's really true or not. There are also people in the Goro 3 forums that said there's literally not much of even a file difference between the two. But then there are people that say there are measurable differences from version to version where studio is better for some, game ready is better for others, and bleh. So I went for the studio drivers this time of 591.74 as I was told. That is the most reliable. Who fucking knows? But that is what I have been told. Are we nearly through the troubleshooting stuff yet? Alright, so I checked on my OVS plugins. No problems I could find with those. No one online recorded any problems with these plugins. I uninstalled my external hard drive. I also reseated my RAM. Shout out to the little wiggly RAM. Yeah. And that's now seated in properly. I also blew out all the dusty stuff. I checked the power connector. There is no issue with the power connector. Like if I show you, hang on. I had a whole bunch of photos I took last night with like the flash on to double check if there's any problems. I could not see a single issue. Like I checked the pins. I used like my compressed air thing to clean out a bunch of stuff. I made sure there was no dust in the contacts. I made sure the contacts were clean. And I am still really, really befuddled as to what the hell anything could even be as a problem. Let me go through. That's one there. That's one there, that's not a problem. Yep, no contacts that are potentially an issue. Okay, send those to my chat so I can put them up on the screen. Also, apologies. Still sinus infection. Bleh. Don't get me wrong, drivers have game profiles just like by certain games. I've gotten conflicting info. If someone knows definitively what the actual answer is, please do tell me, because I just saw a bunch of people online constantly arguing that there's actually no difference between them and studios still get the same things as game ready drivers. But then there's people that measure differences between studio and game ready, so I have no idea. Very inconsistent. There's probably an actual definite answer that I can't find. Alright. So I went and I looked inside. This is with the flash on to identify stuff, and like there's dust that I then blew away. And the connector in there, after I took it out, completely fine. No issues with the connector. So it wasn't like the 12-volt power issue stuff. Completely fine. I also checked the one coming from the power supply as well. that fella up there. I checked the one from the power supply. That is also completely fine. There are no problems with it. So I think it's safe to say it's not like a power issue in that regard. And power supply is less than a year old, and a very well recommended one. And like the Corsair RMX stuff. So it shouldn't be that. Oh, and the RAM, that's a bit of a joke because it's just the heat spreader falls off in the cheaper RAM. Haven't seen any problems to do with it. Mem test was completely fine. It's literally just like the heat spreader falls off, and it's not really that necessary on DDR4 RAM anyway. It's not like super overclocked. It's DDR4 3600 megahertz. It's not really fast. So yeah, I've gone through every single possible troubleshooting solution short of unplugging everything, wiping it, and restarting, setting up all my programs again. Which I may do if it keeps happening. I don't want to because that fucking sucks. Reinstalling Windows is cancer. And if I reinstall Windows 10, it's like I would reinstall Windows 11 in a year or two anyway. If I install Windows 11, I don't want to I hate Windows 11 so much. I've had nothing but problems trying to use Windows 11. Like the game PC for just games, after you set it up to stop giving you notifications every 5 seconds, fantastic. Because the features need Windows 11. They artificially locked it to that. But for everything else, I've had friends that are streamers that have been telling me that Microsoft in an update just forced fucking audio enhancements on their microphones again, and they just spent entire streams that the audio was fucked because Microsoft went, yes, you would like to use our new noise suppression feature on all of your audio devices, and people went, what the fuck is happening to my audio? Thankfully Windows 10 doesn't have any of that. But yeah, Windows 11, that was one of the problems when I first set up a stream on the Windows 11 laptop. I remember going like, guys, why does it sound? It was the audio enhancement feature. Going back to our mechanics and programming lecture. Good luck. Study well. If you don't vibe code, you're realistically gonna leave university with more of a brain than most of the people around you. Like, sure, you can say you vibe code in your job. Learn when you can actually learn. This is your time with your fucking neuroplasticity in your brain. You have the capability to learn. You are a sponge. Pick it up. You can do it. You're told vibe code is the future. Well, that may be. Who knows? However, what we do know is that if you don't actually learn things in the first place, you may as well be a monkey with a machine gun. Like, get the fundamentals down, then you can do the cheats. Until then, don't cheat on something, learn how to actually do it. Anyway. It is currently the ad break, so it's a wonderful time to stand up and stretch. That's right, shut up you go. I feel like in uni, most courses and exams you pass like dumb luck. I think it's just called being like the kid, really. Like I felt like that. Many people I knew felt like that. I have siblings that feel like that. Genuinely, if you can appreciate your time learning things just a little bit, you are leagues ahead of most people that go and study. A lot of the time studying is because people were told that they have to get a degree to get a job, and they don't know what to do after high school. Because that's scary, like it is. Most people finish high school, they don't know what the fuck to do. An 18-year-old can't like plan out their entire life. So university is like a great way to, for many people, make friends, have a little bit of like a soft introduction to being an adult, and potentially get a qualification that gets them money. So if you feel like you just kind of dumb luck got your way through stuff, that's genuinely most people I've seen in uni. Like they can be working hard, but they still don't feel like they really appreciate or come out of it better. And then there's the really pretentious people like, oh, I'm so intelligent after my master's degree.
I debated a 20-year-old in philosophy.
It's like, you got another thing coming, buddy. Could be imposter syndrome. I think a lot of people have imposter syndrome too. But genuinely, the younger you are, the more likely you are to not take studying stuff seriously in terms of like what you want to get out of it, because you may not know what you want yet, and so you may not actually have a drive and full understanding. You might just be like skating by through stuff. Like you put in the effort because you have to put in the effort, not because you want to put through the effort. A lot of uni, like if you are there as a kid, is you're going through the motions because that's life. You don't know what to do. You're like, well, this is just another bit of study. So I know kind of like how to study really quickly. I guess I'll study. I'm on my self-taught program that many friends with PhDs. A PhD means that you were too scared to become an adult and then stay with what was comfortable in uni for a long time. In, unfortunately, a lot of instances. Many people with PhDs are incredibly smart. However, I've extensively also, no, I do not have a PhD myself. I was in the talks of going through and doing for a long time, but I kind of stalled it because I'm like, I'm not sure I really want to do this. And I would have my peers actually, like in an elevator, it'd be like, oh, how you doing? How you doing? Yeah, good. Yeah, good. Elevator closes. This place is so bad. What the fuck? There's like no good research here. I'm like, oh. You're 15 years older than me and asking me for help. Oh dear. I didn't get up and stretch, my apologies. And like, yeah, like you do get a stipend to be able to be a PhD, which is nice because it puts the pressure off of finding a separate job. Like, a PhD can sometimes be a little bit of a trap for people that don't know what they want to do and feel comfortable enough in a university environment. It's like you don't have that breakaway from schooling. You just do more schooling. And don't get me wrong, there are many people that are incredibly intelligent that do PhDs and come out of it contributing incredible research and masters of their field. Not about them. I mean, the majority of people that are kids who are doing what they've known in the process of being kids that, well, you study because you have to, because you're in school, because you have to be in school. Uni is a choice because, well, your parents say you should go to uni. The society says you should go to uni. And you know how to do school a little bit, so you keep going. You're like, well, I guess I can learn stuff. And it's like, I'm making friends and making connections. And then you get off, you're like, well, end of a bachelor's/master's degree. What's the next option here? Go out in the world and try and find a job with a bachelor or master's degree, or believe that research is what you want to do. People push you towards a PhD. Not sure what you want to do with a job. Not sure what you want to do with your degree in its own. Well, I guess I can do a PhD even if I don't like research. And that's kind of how most people I've seen do PhDs. They didn't really start like wanting a PhD. They went through university. And then somewhere along the line were like, I guess I should do a PhD. Gaming is about independence and responsibility, but like, why even show up to lectures that teachers can't teach to save life? That's the thing everywhere. Not every person is good at teaching, and especially depending on the university. A lot of people who aren't PhDs are required to do a certain amount of teaching hours to stay there as a PhD. So they may genuinely be fantastic people at research. They may know 100% what they're doing. It doesn't mean they know how to communicate that or how to teach that to other people. I would be a case of someone who was not particularly smart in many areas And honestly, not really contributed that much to the field of anything. Let's be real, I'm a fucking vtuber. But quite good at getting people to understand things, and they really liked me as a teacher, so I just kept going. That's kind of most of me really. It's just they're like, damn, you're actually really good at teaching this. And I'm like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah. Your class is a much higher average than that. And like, okay, I guess I'll keep going. Yeah, most PhDs, love their research, hate their supervisor and teacher requirements. Like, again, they can be fantastic researchers, and they're like the ideal of PhD. But many times there's like the idea that someone that's fantastic in the field is an inspiration for undergrads. But that only really works if they're good at the inspiring bit. A lot of researchers want to do their research and are quite boring outside of that, and there's nothing wrong with that, but they get like forced into the thing because of the expectations. It's like a very general specification, like it's very specialized, but also way too general as well at the same time. So it creates this like kind of weird dynamic where not everyone is really happy with any of it. Quality teaching dropped massively since COVID. Oh yeah. And also, I'm not like, I'm Australian, so the experiences I have are going to be very different to the US. Because anytime I watch a movie about university or college experience in the US, they're like, oh, hey prof, and they have like this huge lecture hall for every single thing, and that they know every student personally. I'm like, that is not the fucking case here. Holy shit. Oh, you know what they also have to care more about their job in the US? Fucking tenure. Tenure is not a thing in Australia. There's not a system in Australia. There are more reliable full-time positions that have standard full-time employment, but the idea of tenure is not a thing. Tenure is at least in the US and maybe Europe. I think Oxford and like European UK universities have it. Tenure, tenure, is where someone can be kept on their job and they can't really be let go without valid breach of contract, I think it is. Let's double check. Like, they can't just be fired because of a bad quarter or something. They stay and they do their research and they teach. Unless they're like fucking hitting a student, they can't get fired. So tenure means that professors will stay there, but that doesn't mean yet that yes, some professors will be completely shitty in the US because they can't be fired. Like, they can only be fired with cause. Get rid of that shit. Contractual right that grants a teacher or professor permanent position of employment. Does that get paid? Yes. So imagine full-time employment, but you are protected. That's what it's meant to be. Australia does not have that. Australia has full-time positions. Australia does not have tenured positions. Which is why it was really funny when certain universities that I shall not name asked the employees to take a pay cut to pay for the employees that would otherwise be fired during COVID. That was a fun fucking email. It's been long enough. I won't name any university in particular. There was, I believe, multiple did that. But yes, they did send an email asking staff to take a pay cut so that they wouldn't have to fire other staff. And then they fired staff anyway. And also built a middle of nowhere retreat for the executives. I'm not joking, by the way. There were photos. I also criminally underpaid multiple staff members. I remember like getting a paycheck like recently. And I was like, what the fuck is this payment for? Oh, the ATO. You heard from at least 3 different unis that did that. Yeah, like it's not a specific thing, of course. Your VC had a dress budget above most teaching salaries? Oh, shit. Do you miss Hans? Nope, just starting. I'm still just rambling about stuff. Like, I've gone through all the troubleshooting for GPU issues we've done today. Fingers crossed, really.
Mako Footboy Clio Isausa Dance and Jaw Dance Hetska Dance Have you tried the 40k method of just praying harder so that the Q doesn't crash Heads Prime Mako Fupray Clio I Prius Cake?
At some point I should change the TTS to something a little more intelligible. Thank you, Cold Bolts, for the 53 months.
Yes, we don't hate specifically you.
Admiral Take Up, thank you for 10 months. Thank you both of you. I probably should change that to like English instead of Spanish. Oh, it's perfect. You spend an hour trying different voices? Yeah. Thought you were having a stroke? Yeah. Just realized it's in English? Well, it's a Spanish TTS trying to say English. Oh, I was thinking state was self-funded. I believe it's a mix. And say GPU issues, Avamania cards can occasionally cause GPU game crashes. The thing is, I tried looking it up and no one mentioned that with this card. I also couldn't find any logs for the Avamania card of that happening. Because like, the Elgato card would also cause random issues all the time. It could just be a general capture card thing. It could be the weird fucking USB chipset thing because they chose a specifically USB 10 gigabit chipset for the Gigabyte motherboards and a bunch of the Ryzen motherboards that led to numerous issues with USB 10 gigabit standard, and all of them in AM4 are blocked. Who knows? Wanna work? Have a lovely day at work. Try Microsoft Sam. I'll save. I couldn't find like an easy one. Got a preface up to a dumb thing earlier? Ooh. Thank you, Dr. Dubs, for the lovely fan art. Thank you, Dr. Dubs. Haha, yay, computers. B-side. Thank you very much. That is kind of in me. I've had a wonderful time going through all this bullshit. Thank you, Dr. Dubs. Wonderful art. Is Molo very heavy on the CPU? I can show you in my task manager. I'm currently at 30% GPU usage and 19 to 27% CPU usage. And 22 out of 64 gigabytes of memory usage. So, thankfully, completely fine. Yeah, like it's a 5900X. Like, okay, let me, for the stream PC, let me get up Paint. Like, to reiterate some of the issues, this is for my stream PC, not the game PC. I use a capture card between the two. And the problem is, like, this is a 5900X CPU, 64 gigabytes of RAM, a 4070 Ti, and a bunch of NVMe SSDs. Like, it shouldn't have any problem, and like the overall like usage of it is for OBS plus the VTube and stuff. That is like 30% CPU, GPU. So it's nowhere near the maximum. It's a very odd, really. I cleaned up my OBS as well. I cleaned out a bunch of the scenes and stuff. I deleted a bunch of the extra images. Oh, 929. The bug happened again. There it's going. There it's going. There's no spikes in Task Manager at all. Absolutely no spikes at all. There's no problems at all I can see in Task Manager. That's so fucking weird. Like, I have no idea why that happens. Because I installed Wireshark to monitor it, and then that's the day that the GPU crashed. I'm like, well, fuck, for troubleshooting the GPU crash, I now have to uninstall Wireshark. Because that's when I started having it. So like I can't troubleshoot the network potentially issue. Maybe it's a GPU issue as well. Who knows? So like I had an internet issue, a LAN issue, and a GPU issue all at the fucking same time. Isn't that a fucking bitch to troubleshoot? Like we've definitely troubleshooted the internet. Because thankfully there are tools that mean we can measure all of the internet stuff. But like having a internet issue where like a tech fixed the cables, that's sorted. But at the same time, there is also issue number 2 of a LAN issue. Maybe with the iPhone tracking at every hour at 29 minutes. I don't know why the fuck this is the case. I've even tried fully forgetting the network and also giving it like a different MAC address on the phone, because like you can set it from the hide MAC address feature to just keep the same MAC address the entire time. Static IP, I've tagged it in the router to keep track of it. It does not disconnect at all. There is no disconnect measured from the phone. The entire time the phone is still seemingly active. I have no clue what could possibly be happening with that. So that's still a problem. And then there is the GPU issue, which maybe that's the same thing as the LAN issue. Who knows? A GPU issue, which that is currently up in the air. But that was otherwise crashing stream/drivers. All at the same time. I think wake up at that time, use a bunch of traffic. Seemingly no.
Mako news attack priest and start praising the omniscia. This is your only option at this point.
Because like it's also a 2.5 gigabit network. Like we're on a 2.5 gigabit network and have been for weeks now before this started being a problem. Here's my theory on GPU issues. I like that that's just the entire message. Had something similar. It was a power supply the PC was connected to. Maybe. But like, I haven't seen any problems with the power supply.
Almighty Machine God, release Mako from Erkerset Technology Mako fu letter driver best able, game not a buggy and RAM sticks to being wiggly Mako fu wiggly praise the omniscia.
Game's not boogie. Boogie. Here's my theory on GPU issues. They want you to buy another one, so they help with their software updates. I mean, that'd be a serious accusation. I think the conspiracy is much less likely than the very upfront reason of every software company is claiming they use AI to generate more and more of their code, and they cannot test all of it, and they've said they cannot test all of it. And Amazon had to hold meetings about how many problems have been caused specifically by AI-generated code at Amazon. And I feel like, what, wait, really? Yes. Amazon is now holding meetings about multiple Sev 1s happening. That is the highest severity level Amazon has internally that have been caused by their own AI-generated code. Where is it? Oh, sorry, hang on. Here's a golden gate time in the meantime. Where's the Amazon one? I got a bunch of funny things to show you guys in my bookmarks today, but where's the Amazon? Here we go. So apparently, Amazon laid off 14,000 corporate employees and 16,000, 30,000 people in 5 months. 8% of developers using coding tools at least once a week. 30% of developers still didn't touch Amazon in-house tool Cairo by January. Cairo caused a 13-hour AWS outage. A tool that had production-level permissions and said the best fix for a bug was to delete and recreate an entire live environment.
Amazon blamed both user error, not AI, but quietly had a mandatory peer review for all production access afterward. Then Amazon's retail site, so actually Amazon like selling stuff, not AWS, went down for 6 hours. 22,000 people reported checkout failures. Amazon called it software code deployment error. 5 days later, normally optional weekly engineering meeting mandatory. Gen AI tools supplementing or accelerating production, change instructions, leading to unsafe practices. Tracing back to third quarter 2025. Their Gen AI safeguards are not yet fully established. Junior and mid-level engineers now need senior sign-off on any AI-assisted production changes. 90% developers use AI, but only 24% trust it a lot. Yay. Because yeah, this is after Amazon holds mentoring meeting after vibe-coded changes trigger outages. So, I do not believe there is a conspiracy to sell me another GPU, because they're already like booked out of selling GPUs. There's no room to sell me shit anyway. I believe fully that every company is fucking up. The answer is usually the simplest one. Is there a conspiracy where they run code that no one can detect that makes things worse intentionally? Or is it possible that they write lots of code that everyone can tell is written badly because it was written badly and they have no actual quality control? I think it's way more likely that they are fucking things up than they're intentionally making these Machiavellian schemes with impossible to detect changes. Yay! Yeah, because CEOs are definitely afraid to be left behind if they don't enforce AI use. I believe that they're in programming. I do not believe making 50 open core agents to tell you how to run Halo in a fucking wine container is at all remotely sensical. That's fucking stupid. And then to deploy it to Amazon, where they admit that they haven't been checking anything properly, and there's so much with no safeguards in place, that is insane. And overall, everything's kind of just like breaking currently perceived models. Like, there have been issues before with a lot of systems where someone gets something through that they don't properly test. To a degree, you can say that that's the fault of the system not checking properly and be somewhat correct. However, it is like a musket to a Gatling gun. If something breaks like strategically and societally, when suddenly you can do that 100 times fucking faster. People can be wrong so much quicker now. Hi, sorry, that was actually me. My name is Al, not AI. I wrote all the bad code because I thought it'd be funny. Thank you, Al, for your admission. Yeah, like, there's so much that people are summarizing with AI that another AI wrote to then not read. Like, there's code that is never being read by a human because someone doesn't want to read a 1,000-line fucking pull request that wasn't written by a human. They use AI to summarize it. And there's always a hallucination, and especially the larger the context window, the more of a hallucination there fucking is. And it's not responsible. Like, there is a responsible use for this. It's not being used responsibly. All of the shit I see online is people using the same crypto terminology for shit. Like, to the moon, there's a new paradigm, it changes everything. And people will be left behind. A permanent underclass if you don't invest in this now. Is like, sure, okay. Oh yeah, that shits me off about the fucking New York Times, right? Because I didn't get to talk about it the other day. Here's what shits me off about the fucking New York Times is they went through and did a poll about AI writing. And so, like, made sure I'll choose between these 5 excerpts, A or B, which you prefer, and one of them is AI, one of them is human.
And so anytime someone actually picked a human writing, they're like, oh, you're either sharply attuned to the qualities that make for great writing, or a lucky guesser. Which is already a very biased language choice on their own for New York Times to say. Maybe you also notice that humans are writing sometimes includes clunky phrases, like this passage from Cormac McCarthy's Blood Meridian, a apparently, you know, kind of good book. One of the most well-regarded and well-known books in history, caused by the author's aversion to punctuation, as well ask men what they think of stone. AI used to make mistakes like these? But today's system is much more fluid than predecessors, so fluid in fact that finding grammatical errors often hitting you looking at humans' prose, not machines. That's not true at all. And that's the weird thing about this is, yeah, it seems like they think that the sentence from Blood Meridian is missing punctuation. Like, they seem to think that there should be as well, comma, ask men. Then it's not them saying, additionally, you should ask men. It's may as well ask men what they think of stone. There's no comma there. There's no missing punctuation. Whoever wrote this article is a fucking idiot. Or just actively trying to say, look, people prefer AI. We should replace all the New York Times writers with AI. Read this carefully. Doesn't it seem like this is written by AI? Yeah, like I would say that the weird compliment at the start and the M dash with the dick sucking throughout all of it is insane. And yes, Blood Meridian is over 100 years old prose. They wrote, like, okay, can I find an example of how fucking stupid the comparison was? Because they were comparing books that are hundreds of years old to a simple slop sentence released today. And be like, look, see, people prefer the slop sentence from AI. People, or the AI is so good. It's like, no, I think it's because a lot of people just are gonna prefer the sentence that is more like the language they know currently, not 100 years old. Because where was it? I'm trying to see if I can find a solid example of all of the passages that sounded really fucking stupid. New York Times, AI or human? Yeah, so I can't take this because it wanted me to pay a $9 to $180 subscription to be able to take the quiz after I already paid for the games thing, which is fantastic. The results are fascinating. 54% of quiz takers prefer AI, a real moment. And then you consider 54% out of a two-choice solution. Sorry, a two-choice problem. That is very close to 50-50. Because you have A or B. And it's 5 A or Bs, where someone getting 3 AI and 2 human would be classed as, oh, you definitely prefer AI. Not like 5 out of 5. Like the sample size is very weird. So yeah, this is the New York Times. I think overall, this is not a blind taste test. This is them comparing Blood Meridian to a modern sentence. And they do have some more biased data, but this is 50-50. This is a preference to human. This is a preference to human. This is a preference to AI. That's a big preference to AI. And was question 3 Blood Meridian, which is over 100 years old prose? Which again, apparently by all accounts, a fantastic book. But where was it? Because I fucking hate the New York Times. They're such a shit company.